This is really an amazing time because, in fact, with the Exercise is Medicine campaign, this marks really the moment when we are not short of data around convincing anyone that's data-driven that exercise is a breakthrough medicine. So we've got data now around the impact of exercise, but here's the bigger context that physicians, I think, are very familiar with. Of course, now we know from much work and put out by the CDC that most of our health status is driven by our choices. We're in the driver's seat. That the top 10 chronic diseases are preventable. But what's really interesting with all that, and there's no shortage of public awareness of all of this, all that said, only 5% of us are actually actively engaged in the top 5 health behaviors. So when you live in the world of physicians, you live in the world of evidence-based medicine, which means we have to have evidence for whatever we present to doctors. And we know there's no shortage of evidence around exercise and our mental and physical health. So that's a given. What we're lacking, however, is evidence around interventions that deliver sustainable lifestyle changes. We've probably moved the needle beyond where weight loss was. With that personalized attention, with the work we do in the fitness world, we have improved over, the sort of short-term weight loss kinds of programs. But where do we go from here? If you're in a health club setting, what percentage of your members go on to really sustain something that approaches the exercise guidelines? My friends in cardiac rehab tell me that on the order of 10 or 15% of people who finish cardiac rehab programs go on to sustain regular exercise. We have a long way to go, and we've begun to ask personal trainers who've become wellness coaches, what's the impact? You know how your clients were doing when you were using a personal training model. What's happening now that you become a coach? This is anecdotal. They're not tracking it. We need to start doing that. But generally they say, if I'm at 20% or 30% or 40%, what I'm seeing is roughly an increase of 50 to 100% in the number of people who are sustaining regular exercise. So my message here is start collecting outcomes data. If you don't have it now, if you don't know how your clients are doing, not just 3 months out, but a year out, 2 years out, 5 years out, start looking at that. Find ways to stay in touch with people. Find out how impactful your work is over time, because that's what's missing. We know that exercise delivers health. What we haven't gotten down is the interventions that deliver the exercise. As a coach, what you often find is sometimes people need to work on something out in left field that's really separate from their exercise and their eating before they're really ready to move. And so as a coach, you have to go where people need to go before they, and so we need to really pull the two together. And under the umbrella of wellness, we've got that opportunity. And we're able to stand on scientific ground now. We're not doing therapy. We're not fixing people's mental health issues. We need to refer. But we have a toolbox now to bring the two together. I liken it to, how kids wear their baseball hats with the brims on the back. Imagine the brim is your expertise. As a coach, you want to wear it on the back, so it's behind you, it's there to use, but always start first, what do you know about the exercise, the benefits of exercise? What's worked for you? What do you think is going to work now? What is it going to take for you to get to regular exercise? We want the doctor to tell us the facts, give us their best judgment, and move on. And maybe a little motivation, a little cheering, a little, they can in their 8 minutes move you a notch or two. They can inspire and catalyze you a little. But we want the doctors to be experts. If you have a 400-pound man in your presence, you have to start from the perspective that that person really does want to have a better life. They really want to improve. They may be weighed down, literally and figuratively, by layers and layers and layers of challenges and problems and maybe emotional issues. However, deep underneath that is a real desire to be better. I see a coaching session of having a warm-up, a workout, and a cool down. And in the workout, people are thinking hard. I mean, and we get them into a positive frame of mind so they can think hard, have insights, breakthroughs. And basically what's happening is they're likely creating new connections in their brains. that are, you know, if you're trying to break a habit and start a new habit, you've got this well-worn set of pathways in your brain around the old habit, and you've got this fledgling, almost nothing, no brain connections on the new one. And when you make them think through and see, you know, figure things out for themselves, they're actually, their brains are working.